Okay, so this is a crash course in music theory right now. What the goal is for all of you who are attending the Zoom chats, we want to get you all caught up with what is going on. And this is going to be a half hour or less. That's the goal. So right now I'm recording this at 9:02. The goal is to be done by 9:32, so p.m. So we'll see how this goes. So the first thing we need to sit here and deal with is this idea of whole steps and half steps. So if you're at the piano and you have a C and you go to the very next note, okay, the closest note, this is going to be C sharp. Okay? Another name for this note is D flat, and those are called enharmonics. And it's a different name for the same sounding pitch. So those are enharmonics, C sharp and D flat. You have D sharp and E flat, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, then you have A sharp and B flat. Those are all the enharmonic pitches in the black keys. You have some other enharmonics that are a little funny. So like this, E, this could also be E sharp, technically, but we know it as F. This could also be F flat. These two down here, you're very rarely going to see. You're going to see these much more often, those up top, right? So I don't know why my screen just blacked out like that, but that's okay. Right? So whole and half steps. So when we go from C to C sharp or D flat, doesn't matter what you call it at this point. That's going to change in about 5 minutes. That's a half step. Okay? And that's moving from one note to the next closest note on a keyboard. Sorry for my chicken scratch. Now, so one example of a half step is going from C to C sharp. Another one would be going from E to F, because there's no note in between here, right? With the way our system is set up. So another example for a half step is E going to F. Now, we also have whole steps. And quite simply, a whole step is 2 half steps. Okay. So if we start on C, and we'll come over here, and we go 1, 2, that is a whole step. Right. If we are on E, we wanted to go a whole step, we go F, F sharp. So that's a half step versus a whole step. Okay. Here are the whole steps, and here are the half steps. Okay. Now, like I said, 5 minutes, and we're going to move on. So you have whole steps, you have half steps. When we're dealing with triads, and that's another term that we're going to throw on for chords. So a chord is a combination of 3 or more sounds. You know, the line about squares and rectangles, and are all rectangles squares and squares rectangles. I don't know the answer to that question, but all triads are chords. Not all chords are triads. Triads have 3 notes in them. Tri meaning 3. Okay? So, triad. Right. There are 4 different types that we are going to deal with. Okay? And we have a major triad. We have a minor triad. We have an augmented triad and a diminished triad. Okay. Now, all of these triads are going to be made up of different types of thirds. Okay. If I come over here real quick, and we'll just insert this right here. Okay. We have 2 types of thirds that we're going to deal with. Okay. Our thirds are a major third, and we have a minor third. And don't get that confused with this going on down here. That's going to be a little later, okay? I just got ahead of the game. So a major third, okay, the symbol for that is a capital M3, minor third, lowercase m3. All of these triads that I highlighted down here, the major triad, the minor triad, augmented triad, diminished triad, all of those triads are made up of major thirds and minor thirds, and it just changes the pattern, and we're going to show you that right now. Okay? But let me explain what a third is in terms of major and minor. Let's erase the keyboard here and get into this. Now, a major third is 4 half steps, okay, where a minor third is 3 half steps. Okay, so the major third, if we start on C, because it's a third, we have to include 3 letters. A fourth would have to include 4 letters, and I'm going to show you that right now. So if we're calling it a third, C, D, E. If you count the letters, C, D, E. 1, 2, 3. You have to have 3 letters because it's a third. Okay. If we're going to say, hey, we're going to have a major sixth, okay, you go, if we're going to do 6, it's going to be C, D, E, F, G, A. All sixths need to have a C to A relationship in the key of C. Okay. Now that could be different. We're going to keep everything in the key of C right now, just to keep things straight. Okay. So let's see if I can get rid of the blue for now. So going C to E, okay, is 1, 2, 3, 4. And see how that makes a capital M? Weird, right? So C to E, it's 3 letters, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. So this interval right here, okay, boom, going from C to E is a major third. Okay. Going from C to E flat. Okay. So if we come back here, we'll use this one over here. 1, 2, 3. There's C. There's D. This, we have to call it E flat. We can't call it D sharp because of it's a third. If we call it D sharp, it's actually an augmented second. Though it's going to sound the same, it's going to be analyzed differently. So C to E flat is a minor third. Okay, so that's just a little aside. We had to include, oh, didn't want to do that. Let's keep that line there. We needed to explain that before we got into the triad types. So my apologies for not hitting that first. So now we're in the triads in the 4 types. Your major triad, okay, the first interval is a major third, and then we have a minor third after it. The minor triad is a minor third with a major third on top. Augmented is 2 major thirds stacked on top of each other. Diminished, oh, you guessed it, minor third plus a minor third. So putting that into practice, right? I should put a clef here, shouldn't I? There it is. That way you have C's and E's. So here we go. Putting this into practice. If I have a C to E, right? We're doing triads, not intervals anymore. So let's do this. So we have C, E, G. Right. So starting up on the top, back at the keyboard. So we have C to E. There's E, and here's G. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 half steps. Then we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 4 plus 3, which that's what this is. 4 plus 3. right? We set up here, the major third is 4 half steps. Major third, 4 half steps. Minor third, 3 half steps. Minor third, 3 half steps. Okay, so just for sake of argument, there's 3 plus 4. This is 4 plus 4. This is 3 plus 3. So C, E to G is a major triad. 4 half steps plus 3 half steps. If we were to take that E, the third of the chord, okay, you have C, E, G, and you make that E a flat. Okay, you're essentially flipping this interval where the 3 is on the bottom and the 4 is on the top. Check it up top. So we go from C, here's our target right here, E flat. So we go 1, 2, 3. But G stays the same, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 3 to start and then 4 on the other side. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That is a minor triad. Bumping it over a little bit, we have C, E, G. What we're going to do is we're going to go 4 plus 4. We're going to make this augmented. Okay? So we have C, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's that 4 half steps to go to E. Then we need to go another 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is G sharp. This gives us an augmented major third, capital M. Right, we don't need the 3. I don't know why I drew a 3. Right. This is a major triad. This is a minor triad. This is an augmented. Augmented gets a little plus sign. The next one is diminished. We have C, E flat, G flat. C, going up 3. 1, 2, 3. It's E flat. Then 1, 2, 3 is G flat. Okay, so you have 3 half steps and 3 half steps. Here you have 4 and 4. Here you have 3 and 3. This is diminished. And it gets a little circle. And if you were to analyze this using like lead sheet symbols, this would be considered C, capital M, for C, major triad. Minor triad, C, lowercase m. Augmented triad is going to be C with a plus. Diminished is going to be C, the little circle. Now, how are we doing on time? 15 minutes? We still got 15 minutes left. Okay. So that is what you need. Okay. And we're going to refer to this quite a few times. In every chord that we're going to deal with, you're going to have a root, a third, and a fifth. You're also going to have a seventh when we get into seventh chords. It's called a seventh and a third because it's a third above the bass. This is a fifth above the bass. This is a seventh above the bass. You have C, E, G, B. In between there is D and F and A. So you have 1, 2, 3. That's what this is. A first, that's a third. Here's 4. There's a fifth. There's 6 and the seventh right there. There's the seventh. So that's why we say 1, 3, 5, 7. Root, third, fifth, seventh. So C is known as the root. Okay. Now, I'm pushing right along here. You can build all sorts of chords. You know, we've been using C just to keep it easy and simple for right now, but we can do the same thing on F, right? So we already have a treble clef established. We have F, A, C. That's your F major triad. F, A flat, C is minor. F, A, C sharp is augmented. F, A, C and lower both of those. F, A, C flat. That's going to be diminished. Okay. So that's how those are the four primary types of triads that we're going to deal with. Okay. The next thing we want to do is talk about the seventh chords. Okay. So while we've sat here and mainly done triads right now, dealing with nothing but three notes per chord, there are 5 types of seventh chords. Okay. So dealing with seventh chords, right, I'll change it up and we'll go with G. Right. So there are 5 different types. The first one is called a major 7. And what that is, you have a major triad with a major 7th. Okay, so this is a major triad. The interval is major, minor, major. G to B is major. B to D is minor. D to F sharp is major. So that is known as a major 7 chord. Okay. If you spell G, B, D, F natural, this is known as a major minor 7, or another shorthand name is dominant 7. And this is a major minor minor. G to B to D, right? Has the same basic triad, but the minor 7th right there. So you have 4 half steps here, 3 half steps, and 4 half steps. 4 half steps, 3 half steps, 3 half steps. These are the patterns. The third type is G, B flat, D, F, minor 7. Okay. Why? Because it has a minor triad. That minor triad from up top, where it's 3 plus 4. The minor's below the major. So it's a minor, major, minor breakdown where you have G to B flat to D to F. 3 half steps, 4 half steps, 3 half steps. The next one, G, B flat, D flat, F. That D is also flat. G, B flat, D flat, F. This is called a half diminished 7. Okay. It is a minor, minor, major pattern. So that G to B flat is 3 half steps. B flat to D flat, 3 half steps. D flat to F, major. The last one is a fully diminished 7. Okay. And that's minor straight across the board. Minor, minor, minor. G, B flat, D flat, F flat. And there's that end harmonic we were talking about earlier, where F flat is also known as E. But 3 half steps, 3 half steps, 3 half steps. G, B flat, D flat, F flat. Okay. So another way you're going to see these is with symbols. So this is going to be a major 7. This has a couple ways you can write it. G, major, so it's a major minor 7, or you'll just see it as a 7, and there will be a Roman numeral here. That's going to be coming up here in about maybe 3 minutes. This is a minor 7. Half diminished is a circle with a slash for the 7, and this is a circle, no slash. Okay. So that is the start of what we're dealing. These PDFs will be available going onward here. Now, those chords, we can invert those chords. Okay. What I mean by invert. So if we have a C chord. Let's go back to the wonderful key of C. C, E, G. That's playing the chord just like this. C, E, G. What we can do is we can take this C and we can move it up there. So that is E, G, C. Right, so now the chord looks like this. E, G, C. You can do the exact same thing with the E and move the E up. So now you have G, C, E. These are called inversions. When you put a space in between, right there, there's that little gap. Okay? So this is known as root position. And all of the notes are stacked as closely as possible. Dr. Long, my college theory professor, always called it snowman position, and it's kind of stuck to the day. Okay? Another way to label it is with a 5, 3. Why? Because you're counting the letters. 1, 3, 5, meaning you have a fifth above the bass and a third above the bass. So that's known as 5, 3. Now, doing the same thing. If this now becomes 1, right? So that's your root. No, that's your bass. Excuse me. I totally misspoke. That is not a root. That is a bass. Okay. So now E is your bass. So if you count this as 1, this becomes 3. E up to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This becomes a 6. This is first inversion. And this is known as 6, 3. Okay. Now, with G as your bass note, make that 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have a 6 and you have a 4. The second inversion is known as a 6, 4. Okay. The next part, and this is the last part of what I believe we're doing here, right, is, well, we have actually one more thing we have to do, but I'll squeeze that in. So we have inversions for seventh chords. So here's your triads, triad inversions. Here are your seventh chord inversions. The same principle applies. Okay. So, treble clef, same chord. We'll go C, E, G, B. Then we'll go E, G, B, C, G, B, C, E, B, C, E, G. So we have 1, 3, 5, and 7. C, E, G, B. There's a D, there's the F, there's an A. 1, 3, 5, 7. Because there's 2, there's 4, and there's 6. This is just known, and this is root position. This is just a 7. Root position. This is first inversion, where the root, the C, gets displaced. So now, with this being your bass, you have a third above the bass, you have a fifth above the bass, and you have a sixth above the bass. First inversion, seventh chord, is called a 6, 5. Okay. Here's second inversion. Okay. Here's the bass. You have a third above the bass, a fourth above the bass, and a sixth above the bass from G to E. This is known as a 4, 3. Third inversion. I'll tell you it's 4, 2, because you have a second, a fourth, and a sixth. So those are the inversions. The absolute last thing we have to do here is talk about analysis. Okay. So when we start analyzing pieces, we have, they're going to be in a key signature. And this key signature kind of establishes a language for us. And each chord interacts with the following chord in a different way. And again, just to keep things simple, we're going to be in the key of C. So there's C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay? If we build a triad from the C major scale, okay, and just go root 3 5, root 3 5, root 3 5, root 3 5, we build these chords. These are the diatonic chords in major. Okay? So if you analyze this and you count the half steps between C and E, you have 4. E and G is 3. This is a major triad. But because it's built on the first scale degree, it gets a Roman numeral 1. This is going to be a Roman numeral 2. This is Roman numeral 3, Roman numeral 4, Roman numeral 5, Roman numeral 6, Roman numeral 7. Okay. In major, your 1 chord, your 4 chord, and your 5 chord are 95% of the time going to be major. Right? F to A, 4 half steps, A to C, 3 half steps, G to B, 4 half steps, B to D, 3 half steps. Your 2, your 3, and your 6 are going to be minor, because there's D to F is 3 half steps, F to A is 4, E to G is 3 half steps, G to B is 4. Same thing here on the 6. That it is 3, and this is 4. This is special. It is diminished. You have 3 half steps and 3 half steps. Okay. This is going to be thrown around a lot moving forward. Okay, these Roman numerals. And those Roman numerals are coming from when you put it in snowman position, right? If you have a chord, let's take this right here. Okay, and I have a G there, a C, and we're doing an analysis. Okay, and we have to figure out what kind of chord that is. The first thing we do is we take a pitch inventory. So we count, we say there's a G, there's a C, there's an E, and there's another C. So we have 2 C's, an E, and a G. And what we want to do is put it in snowman position. Put it so that every note is right next to each other. So there's a C, put E as close as possible, put G as close as possible. So now we have C, E, G, where C is the root. Because my key signature has no sharps and no flats, we're going to assume we're in the key of C. This is a 1 chord, C, E, G in the key of C. But because the G is in the bass, now if I take this G and I put it down here, right? G up to C is a 4th. G up to E is a 6th. This is a 1, 6, 4 chord. So that's pretty much music theory. You know what they've done in 6 months in 30 minutes. It's 9:32 and 19 seconds. So we did pretty good on time. That's a very rushed idea of what our class has been, to kind of get all of you caught up on what's going on. If you have any questions, ask me in the Zoom. Okay, we're going to do another Zoom on Thursday. But this will get you kind of in the knowledge of what we're doing moving forward in Chapter 5 with our analysis. So I hope this helps. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know if you need anything. See ya.